Let's listen to this video first. I'll give my comment at the end.
Ukraine's anti-corruption authorities have carried out searches at the home and office of President Zelensky's chief of staff. Andriy Yermak is Zelensky's most important ally and Ukraine's lead negotiator in peace talks with the U.S. and Russia. Yermak says he's cooperating with the investigators. The anti-corruption agencies said the searches were linked to an unspecified investigation. Earlier this month, they uncovered what they called a $100 million kickback scheme in the strategic energy sector. Tell us more. What do we know about what's behind this raid?
Well, we are seeing reports that this is connected to that case that was making waves just basically a week, 10 days ago about corruption in the energy sphere, money being siphoned off, bribes demanded during the construction of protective structures to protect Ukraine's energy infrastructure from the Russian attacks everyone knew were coming and that have indeed come. That has all not been officially confirmed yet. But as you mentioned there, Yermak saying he is not trying to stop the investigations. He's opened his home and his office to that. But it does seem like there is more to it. We're getting reports in the last couple of hours since we saw the dramatic pictures of investigators there at the presidential compound earlier this morning that potentially that's the kind of the story here being told here in Ukraine, that people from Yermak's kind of circle, maybe himself, were about to attack the anti-corruption organizations, those institutions, try and come out with kind of legal cases against the people in charge of those organizations. So maybe this was a kind of preventative strike. We still don't know yet, but we certainly saw earlier in the year that the government was trying to take the independence of those anti-corruption bodies away. Now we all presume that was because they knew these cases were coming. So it's a very messy situation. It's one that's got people very angry at a time where people are dealing with blackouts because the energy system hasn't been protected as well as maybe it could have. And it is very dangerous for Volodymyr Zelensky, who might have thought that this was all over after all the talk of Trump's peace plan and that he could just get back to normal.
And I want to give our viewers some context because corruption has, of course, long been a major issue in Ukraine. Most recently, pressure had been growing on the president to purge his cabinet amid graft allegations. Let's take a closer look.
The former justice minister, the former energy minister, a former deputy prime minister, a close business associate of the president, an entrepreneur, all caught up in a massive corruption scandal. Now there are calls for the president's chief of staff to resign so that President Volodymyr Zelensky can show he's taking decisive action. Prosecutors say that several conspirators took kickbacks during the construction of structures meant to protect energy facilities from Russian air attacks. Investigators seized safes full of cash, and the conspirators allegedly referred to each other with code names like Alibaba and Professor. President Zelensky condemned the alleged conspiracy and fired his justice and energy ministers, seeking to put space between himself and the scandal.
First of all, there should be maximum transparency in the energy sector and in all processes. I support every investigation by law enforcement and anti-corruption bodies.
A question about this investigation or corruption investigation which is going on in Ukraine. What if Russia is behind this process? You can't know because Russia is a very strong country. You can't underestimate Russia because you know yourself that Russia has been there for many years and they have been doing politics for many years. What if they are doing this to distract the Ukrainians while they're driving their land? You know, everything can happen. Because there are peace talks going on. Why shouldn't they wait for the peace talks to end and then begin this process at the end? That's my question, because maybe they're doing this to distract the Ukrainians and then to show that their system is corrupt in order to fall their country, in order to trap them. Because if you do the corruption investigations in Ukraine, which are at war, why not do it in Russia? Russia, we believe that Russia is not a perfect country. Why not do it in Russia? That's my question.